To call Mario Party 5 bad, which is something I used to do quite often and with zero hesitation, is completely ignorant, I've recently learned. I used to hate Mario Party 5 with a passion, thinking it to be the absolute rock bottom of the series. But upon a recent reevaluation, it isn't bad, it's just decidedly mediocre, which could be argued is much worse.
Mario Party 5 has 7 boards, 10 playable characters, and 77 minigames. That's the most minigames and playable characters we've seen in a Mario Party game so far, and for the first time since Mario Party 2, there's more than 6 boards. Unfortunately, these last 2 feats were obtained at a rather substantial cost. Most of the boards in Mario Party 5 are pretty bad, and DK is no longer a playable character. He got a brand deal and now hosts his own space. To replace him are Boo, Toad, and Koopa Kid, which are all great additions to the roster. Here's the rundown of the boards this time around. Toy Dream, Bostonian Star Hunting Board. Really boring, uninspired board. Only interesting thing here is the train that takes you from the North Station to the South Station and vice versa. Rainbow Dream, Circular Star Hunting Board. 4 clockwise circles that can only be visited in a clockwise order unless you land on either the Wind Gondola or the Rainbow Bridge happening spaces. The former puts you on a random circle while the latter lets you choose what circle to get off on. The board would be so much better if the Wind Gondola wasn't a happening space and you could choose where to get off. Pirate Dream, Bostonian Star Hunting Board. Pretty alright board that has multiple routes, a few interesting happening spaces, and 2 toll roads. Undersea Dream, Bostonian Star Hunting Board. Very plain board that manages to not be completely offensive, and I have nothing more to say on the matter. Future Dream, Circular Star Hunting Board. Takes the gimmick from Rainbow Dream and actually just does it better. The 3 circles work better, as does being able to freely go to the left and right circles from the center one instead of paying 5 coins. The only thing that prevents this board from being truly great is the lack of a consistent way to move between the side circles. Sweet Dream, Bostonian Star Hunting Board. This board offers next to no player agency and the falling platforms just kinda railroad you in a direction. The birthday party happening space is crazy though. You can just make every player give you a star. Truly the spirit of Mario Party. Bowser Nightmare, Bostonian Star Hunting Board. Honestly the only board worth playing. It's a large board with a decent amount of junctions and a cool aesthetic. The only issues are that this board contains the only infinite in Mario Party 5 with the spin stage, and that Bowser takes the longest walk in recorded history. The main issue with the boards in Mario Party 5 is that most of them don't have a gimmick, which makes them incredibly forgettable. Like, sometimes I'll forget that Sweet Dream and Toy Dream are separate boards, or that Rainbow Dream even exists. To me, a board gimmick is a mechanic of the board that happens whether or not a player lands on a certain space, namely happening spaces. For example, the gimmick in Spiny Desert is that there are 2 star spaces, but one of them is a mirage. This mechanic occurs whenever a player obtains a star and isn't dependent on landing on a happening space. The only boards in Mario Party 5 with any sort of gimmick are Rainbow Dream and Future Dream, as well as Sweet Dream to a lesser extent. Take Undersea Dream for instance. Undersea Dream has no gimmick whatsoever. It's simply an undersea themed Mario Party board. Fortunately, the minigames are all decent enough. No heavy hitters like Booksquirm and Dungeon Duos, but none of them make me want to kill myself. In fact, there's only 9 bad minigames, which isn't awful. Although it's worth noting that Vicious Vending and Mathletes are 2 of the laziest minigames in the entire series. Also brought back from Mario Parties 2 and 3 are Duel minigames. And for the first time in the series, you can finally duel for stars. The way this works is that either both players put up a star or the initiator puts up 50 coins in lieu of the star. Mario Party 5 also introduces DK minigames, which are glorified coin minigames that can only occur when a DK space is landed on. DK stops a roulette to determine how much a banana is worth, heavily implying that bananas are an incredibly volatile market, then selects a minigame where the object is to get as many bananas as possible. The bananas are then exchanged for coins. They're a nice exchange of pace and are completely unoffensive as all players are involved. What isn't a nice change of pace is that battle minigames now randomly occur in place of the regular minigame at the end of the turn. I honestly preferred when battle minigames had their own space, but now everyone gets to vote on what battle minigame is played, which is super cool, so it isn't all bad. And for the first time in the series, there isn't a weird minigame in Mario Party 5. There is no weirdly complex minigame based off the mechanics of another minigame. In place of that weird minigame, we have beach volleyball and ice hockey. Beach volleyball is basically beach volley from Mario Party 4, but with 3 different volleyballs this time. You have basic boring volleyball, bob-omb volleyball that explodes on the 11th volley, and a dice ball that arbitrarily awards 1 to 6 points. Then ice hockey is literally just hockey. You play for either 1, 3, or 5 minutes. It's pretty good actually, but it's so sad to see the tradition of the weirdly complex minigame based off the mechanics of another minigame be thrown to the wayside like this. As for the other modes in Mario Party 5, like in Mario Party 4, there's a ton. Let's start with the story mode. The story mode in Mario Party 5 is surprisingly good. It's strange to say, but I had the most fun with Mario Party 5 single player mode out of all the Mario Party games so far. I really appreciated that it did something wildly different and only took about 90 minutes to complete. The plot goes something like this. Bowser and Koopa Kid are trying to take over the Dream Depot so that they can have their dreams come true. Koopa Kid splits into Blue Koopa Kid, Red Koopa Kid, and Green Koopa Kid, and it's up to the player character to combat them on 4 out of the 6 default boards before going to Bowser Nightmare and then fighting Bowser himself in Frightmare. The way you combat the Koopa Kids are by rolling into them to initiate a duel or by landing on a versus space. These start minigames where the losers lose coins. The object is to bankrupt the Koopa Kids before they bankrupt you or before 15 turns are up. It's almost fun, but the mode feels like it's missing something that prevents it from being truly great. It's short, simple, and sweet and unlocks Bowser Nightmare. In minigame mode, you've got free play, minigame battle, minigame circuit, minigame decathlon, minigame wars, and minigame tournament. Free play, as always, is a handy way to play any minigame you've unlocked. Minigame battle is a competition to see who can win either 3, 5, or 7 minigames first. Minigame circuit is a one-lap race around a racetrack. Minigames are played in the winner's row dice blocks to see how far they move. Each player gets 2 mushrooms and a super mushroom which they can use before a minigame. If they win that minigame, they either roll 2 or 3 dice blocks depending on the mushroom used. Beyond that, there are 3 types of spaces on the racetrack: Normal, Duel, and Bowser. Normal spaces do nothing. Duel spaces initiate a duel where the winner rolls a dice block and makes the loser move back that many spaces, and Bowser spaces initiate a Bowser minigame where Bowser rolls a dice block and makes the losers move back that many spaces. It's complicated, but I kinda like it. Minigame Decathlon has the players play 10 minigames as optimally as possible to get as many points as possible. The 10 minigames are Ground Pound Down, Chomp Romp, Flower Shower, Leaf Leap, Nightlight Fright, Dinger Derby, Hydro Stars, Will Flower, Later Skater, and Triple Jump. Minigame Wars has the players try to get as many tiles to be their color as possible. This is accomplished by winning minigames. The winner of the minigame gets to choose an unclaimed tile, which then turns their color. If one player sandwiches another player's tile, however, the sandwich tile turns into the other player's color. It's a fine mode, but it goes on for far too long. And finally, Minigame Tournament is a 4-person bracket where players play duel minigames. The winners of the first round immediately go on to grand finals, and the losers play another duel minigame to determine 3rd and 4th place. Now we get into the queerer game modes. In bonus mode, tucked alongside beach volleyball and ice hockey, is Card Party. Card Party, as the name might imply, is a board game version of Mario Party. Cards are laid in a grid-like fashion, and the board can either be a 7x7, 8x8, 9x9, or 10x10 grid. There are 5 different kinds of cards: Path, Item, Event, Star, and Bowser. Path cards are just regular oak junctions that allow traversal to other cards. Item cards grant the first player to reach them an item. The 3 items are Mushrooms, Cursed Mushrooms, and Warp Pipes. Mushrooms allow the user to roll 2 dice. Cursed Mushrooms make the victim roll a 1 to 3 dice, and Warp Pipes turn a path card into a 4-way junction. Event cards cause an event to occur when the first player reaches it. Star cards grant the first player to reach it a star. Bowser cards look like path cards and mess with the player who flips it over. Players choose a starting point anywhere on the edge of the board and roll a regular dice to move. The game ends after every star card is revealed. This game mode suffers from one huge issue. All the cards are exposed from the start. Not only that, but you can see exactly where all the event, item, and star cards are. This game mode would be so much cooler if the players all started on a single tile and explored outwards, revealing more tiles as they do so. Kinda like the exploration and betrayal at the house on the hill. As it stands, however, it's an incredibly disappointing game mode. But by far the queerest game mode in Mario Party 5 is Super Duel Mode. Before I spoil what Super Duel Mode actually is, let me ask you what you think it is. Is it A follow-up to the Duel Mode from Mario Party 3? B. A two-player version of the story mode boards with the same rule set, or C. A two-player version of party mode where the only minigames played are duel minigames. If you answered D, a mech fighter, then you were correct. Super Duel Mode is a build-your-own mech fighter. The mechs, called machines, are comprised of 4 parts: bodies, tires, engines, and weapons. You buy these from Scholar, who exchanges them for minigame points. Bodies cost 4-player minigame points, tires cost 1v3 minigame points, engines cost 2v2 minigame points, and weapons cost battle minigame points. You get these points by playing the corresponding minigames. So you get to build your own machines and fight against your friends. But that's not all. There are 3 different game modes. The first is a standard deathmatch where the last player standing wins. The second one is a capture the flag type game where the object is to be the first to obtain 3 flags. And the third is a hunting game where you need to shoot 3 robo-rabbits before your opponent does. Not only can you play these matches with your friend, but you can also play against the computer in D1 tournaments. Each game mode has 3 different tournaments: easy, normal, and hard. Beat every tournament and you unlock the Scholar machine parts. But if you manage to beat DK in a tournament, then you get to play as him, which is unbelievably cool. If that weren't enough, there are 8 arenas to play in: Green Meadow, Moonlit Midnight, Quicksand Desert, Snowy Slope, Jungle Falls, Lunar Outpost, Bowser Stadium, and Random Ruckus. Random Ruckus is randomly generated every time, which is actually to die for. Super Duel Mode is actually incredible. It is a competently built side mode that is genuinely a lot of fun to play. I'm baffled by its inclusion, but am grateful that it works, unlike the duel mode from Mario Party 3. It reminds me an awful lot of the vehicle customization from F-Zero GX. In fact, it's so similar that I kinda think the 2 games might have inspired each other. They were both released in 2003, so their development cycles probably overlapped. But at the same time, both were only published by Nintendo and were developed by third parties, so I could just be talking out of my ass. Regardless, it's time for pros and cons. Pro, you can duel for stars. This is a small addition that adds an awful lot to the dueling mechanic. Pro, everyone gets to vote for which battle minigame is played. There are 3 options, and if 2 of them each get 2 votes, then the minigame that wasn't voted for gets chosen, which is an excellent prank. Pro, Bowser minigames occur much more often than they did in Mario Party 4. In Mario Party 4, Bowser minigames were a rather rare occurrence, but in Mario Party 5, it's one of the 4 things that Bowser can do, alongside Bowser Bonus, Bowser Revolution, and Bowser Shuffle. Also, sometimes when you land on a Bowser space, DK can show up and punch Bowser. It's very rare, but it happened to me, and so I wanted to flaunt that. Pro, DK spaces. As much of a bummer it is that DK is no longer a playable character, the DK spaces are a pretty good consolation. When players land on a DK space, DK can do one of 3 things: DK Bonus, DK Roulette, and DK Minigame. DK Bonus sees the player rolling a dice block to determine how many coins they receive. DK Roulette has both DK and the player roll a dice block. If the player rolls higher than DK, they win a star. Very reminiscent of the Baby Bowser dice roll-offs from Eternal Star. And then DK Minigame is just that, a DK Minigame. Also, the last line before DK leaves is, "Thanks, Donkey Kong, don't be a stranger," which is a contender for the best line in any Mario Party game, hands down. Pro, Koopa Banks are back. Granted, they only appear in the form of capsule spaces, but they're still here. Pro, Team Match works better than it did in Mario Party 4. The main change is that Mario Party 5 makes is that teammates' coins, stars, and capsules are shared throughout the entire game. Each team can hold 5 capsules as opposed to the normal 3. Bonus stars are also awarded to the teams, not the individuals. Also, each team combination has their own special name, which I think is a cute inclusion. Here's the list of them. Overall, they're not big changes, but they're nice quality of life updates. Pro, Chance Time got fixed. We all remember how Chance Time got turned into a weird pinball game in Mario Party 4, right? Well, thankfully, Mario Party 5 brings Chance Time back to its roots in the form of Chance Roulette. It still doesn't provide as much agency as Mario Parties 1 and 2, but it's nice and quick, the way it should be. Pro, everything looks even nicer. While all the boards in Mario Party 4 existed on girders above a 3-dimensional environment, the boards in Mario Party 5 actually exist in these 3-dimensional environments. Con, capsules. Capsules are the reason that Mario Party 5 is mediocre instead of pretty good. Instead of obtaining items from item spaces or item minigames and buying them from item stores, you get a free capsule from the capsule machine every time you pass it. It? Him? Her? They? The capsule machine is weirdly gendered, but I don't know how so. Like, the twisty thing looks like a mustache? I don't know. The capsule machine gives me bad vibes, I'll leave it at that, because those are the most soulless Phillips head eyes I have ever seen in my life. Anyway, the capsules you get from the capsule machine range from mushrooms that let you roll multiple dice blocks, to the aforementioned Koopa Bank, to the Mario Party 5 equivalent of the magic lamp, Wiggler. However, while the capsules are free to acquire, they aren't free to use. Sometimes. Here's the basic rundown of how the capsules work. Mr. Capsule Machine goes and shoots out a capsule for you, free of charge. Now, you have two options for how to use the capsule. Either pay the capsule piper and use it on yourself, or toss it onto any blue or red space within 10 spaces of you. If you do the latter, it creates a permanent space where the effects of the capsule trigger anytime the space is landed on. On paper, that sounds alright. Throw capsules that would take coins or capsules from you, and use capsules that directly benefit you. But there's a few crucial elements that make the capsule system bloated and confusing. 1. You can use any capsule on yourself, even capsules that just straight up take your coins and capsules. And yes, you still need to pay to use these on yourself. 2. There are 28 kinds of capsules, and a lot of them do very similar things. 3. Despite having 28 kinds of capsules, there are only 10 different icons when capsules are on spaces. So unless you're paying an awful lot of attention and have a great memory, it's very likely you'll forget what capsule space does what. And considering Outstar places 6 random capsules at the start of the game, you'll have no idea what those capsule spaces do. At the end of the day, capsules are so poorly implemented that it baffles me why Hudson Soft decided to use this mechanic. Con. No more stars and hidden blocks. Not only that, but the coin hidden block went from containing 20 coins to containing 10 coins. It's such a shame because I really liked having stars and hidden blocks. Con. DK is no longer a playable character. Yeah, it's cool and all that he got a brand deal and no longer has to risk his life for 10 coins, but I really miss being able to play as him in a game mode that isn't Super Duel mode. I just think that there could have been another character to host their own space instead of a character that had been playable since Mario Party 1, like Toadsworth or Big Penguin. Con. Bowser Bonus. Bowser Bonus sees Bowser gifting the player a Zdar. Z-tar? It's a stupid word. Anyway, the Z-tar takes a star away from the player, and as I have adamantly stated throughout this series, stars should not be able to leave play. Con. No custom minigame sets. After introducing it in Mario Party 4, Mario Party 5 removes custom minigame sets and replaces it with 4 categories for minigames. Easy, action, skill, and goofy minigames. This is a giant blow to democracy and a real slap in the face to the success of Mario Party 4. Con. No more battle minigame spaces. I've said it before, but I miss having a dedicated battle minigame space. I just don't much care for having them randomly occur at the end of a turn. Con. There is no longer a permanent fixture on the boards for stealing coins and stars. In previous games, every board, save for Peach's birthday cake, had at least one spot for stealing from the other players. In Mario Party 5, not only does Boo no longer steal coins and stars, as he is now playable, but the space that does allow stealing, Chain Chomp spaces, is the result of a capsule being used, meaning that sometimes there is just no way to steal coins and stars. This really sucks.
I pity Mario Party 5. I really do. It came so close to being a truly great Mario Party game, but the capsule mechanic and the fact that most of the boards don't have gimmicks ruined this possibility. Yet at the same time, it's not nearly as bad as I once made it out to be. The minigames are good and almost all the bonus modes are pretty cool. Had it not tried the capsule system and instead followed the groundwork that Mario Party 4 had laid, Mario Party 5 would have been the perfect Mario Party game. But there's no point in lamenting what might have been. Mario Party 5 sits smack dab in between Mario Party 2 and Mario Party 3. The boards and board play are substantially worse than they were in Mario Party 2, but all the minigames are much better than the ones found in Mario Party 3. Now, disclaimer, while I no longer think Mario Party 5 is bad and think it to be objectively better than Mario Parties 1 and 3, this is still my least favorite Mario Party game. If given the choice to play either this or Mario Party 3, I would choose the latter. Hell, I'd rather play Mario Party 1 than this. As for salvaged aspects, there's only 2 this time around. Being able to duel for stars, and everyone being able to vote for what battle minigame is played. There aren't many salvaged aspects because there aren't many things that Mario Party 5 does right. Is that me? The salvaged minigames are Head Waiter and Pushy Penguins. Head Waiter is a great minigame for mind games, and Pushy Penguins is just such an incredible concept for a minigame. Next time we'll be looking at Mario Party 6, where I am very interested to see how the series bounces back from Mario Party 5. Yada yada yada, clerical duties, compiled salvaged aspect and minigame lists. Take care.